What's going on, everyone? So this is my review for Star Wars 9: Rise of Skywalker, and just giving you guys a heads up, I'm really tired, but as per usual on Thursday nights, I'm trying to get my review out as soon as possible. So here's my review. So this being the ninth entry, this is the final chapter in the Skywalker trilogy. This is a movie that was in a lot of secrecy, so I'm not going to give the plot or anything. All I'm going to say, this was directed by J.J. Abrams, who directed Episode 7. He's also directed Star Trek movies, Super 8, Mission Impossible 3. He's a rock solid director. I know some people that don't like him, some people that love him. I'm in the middle. I think he's rock solid. And then Chris Terrio also co-wrote this movie with J.J. Abrams. And this is a movie that for many people, they were nervous, but also very much so excited. I wasn't sure what to feel like because I saw the trailers and it looked like it would be a fun time. And I always think that with Disney movies. They know how to market their movies, they know how to make movies look really good. So I was very curious about this movie. Right off the bat, I'm just going to get this out of the way. I think the sound editing and mixing in this movie is really good. Top notch. Really, really good. I loved the combination of like guns, lightsabers, dialogue and score mixed all together. Worked really well for me. I also think the production design is really good. You can definitely tell that this movie was a $200 million plus budget. Really does show on the screen. I like the visual effects for the most part. I also like the cast. I think Adam Driver in particular was really good. The rest of the cast is solid. Nobody else really gives like a great performance, but it is nice to see certain other actors like Domhnall Gleeson and Richard E. Grant be in this movie. But I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of where my positives end for this movie. I really didn't like this movie, and normally I would get into a rant, but I just don't have the energy to do that. So I'm just gonna talk in a normal voice. I think that this movie's pretty bad, honestly. I think that the filmmaking's fine for the most part in terms of technical aspects, but it comes down to story, character development, plot, pacing, tone, ending, fan service treatment. There's just a lot of problems with this movie. I think my biggest thing is that this movie structured in a way to where it's both crowd pleasing, but at the same time kind of tone deaf in its approach to the material. For instance, you have a first act that is trying to essentially fix the wrongings of episode 8. Regardless of if you like the movie or not, the ninth entry is trying to fix everything that happened in episode 8, while also at the same time trying to go forward. But the problem with that is that this movie doesn't really move forward. These are all plot points you've seen before. You've seen this many times, particularly in episode 6. This is essentially a remake of episode 6, whilst episode 8 was a remake of episode 5, and then episode 7 was a remake of episode 4. I was duped the first time I saw Star Wars 7. I enjoyed that movie. I didn't like episode 8, and then episode 9 I obviously really didn't like. But it comes down to I just started noticing that all these movies have the same problems. You have characters that are in the background that weren't really developed, and then as the movies progress, they become, the front and center characters, but you don't really know them. You like the actors and actresses, but you don't actually know them and care for them. And that's a problem, I think, with a movie that's trying to focus on these characters late in the game. You also have characters that do things to where it's only for the sake of the plot and to move that forward without actually feeling organic. Another problem I had with the movie is the structure. The way that this movie's structured, again, it's meant to be crowd pleasing, but it's done so in a way that's a disservice to everything else. It's a movie that really is focused on pleasing the fans, and that can work sometimes, as Avengers Endgame showed. But when you have certain scenes where it's like, remember this, literally every shot's like that, it gets old after a while. And this movie suffers from that majorly. Every single scene is trying to get the maximum effect of nostalgia for you. And for me, it just doesn't work. It really doesn't. I know some people that will be fine with it, but it just didn't work for me. In particular, the ending. I think the ending scene, I wanted to walk out, honestly. Thank God the movie was just about to end, but I wanted to walk out because I was like, are you serious? There are also things that, characters do that I mentioned that it's for the sake of getting characters from point A to B. But it comes down to that's also MacGuffin. There are certain objects where the characters are looking for it simply to get the characters from point A to B. That in itself isn't always a problem. It's all in how you approach it. And I feel like the way that they approached it in this movie really didn't work. It didn't feel natural in the slightest. The action scenes also are kind of iffy. It's not a negative, but there are a lot of action scenes where I was kind of bored by. Surprisingly enough, I thought that a lot of the action scenes were kind of dull. And I do also have problems with the storytelling method. Like I said, it's essentially a remake of episode 6, and it's not even like a good remake. It's a remake that feels like second fiddle to the movie. Um, I'm trying to think off the top of my head because again, like I said, I'm beat, but I really didn't like this movie. I think that in terms of character, story, structure, pacing, length, this movie could have easily shed 20 minutes, which is kind of ironic because it's three movies in one. It easily could have expanded on that, but in terms of like structure, it really could have trimmed some editing. And yeah, I really didn't like this movie. Again, I don't even want to rant about this movie because at the end of the day, I'm gonna try to forget about this movie. It's a movie I'm sure fans will like. The people I saw it with seem to enjoy it, but again, without talking about spoilers, if you're looking for a movie that's really coherent and is breaking new ground or at least trying something new or is risky, not your movie. But if you want a movie that you've seen before, just repackaged, watch it. You'll enjoy it. But for me personally, I didn't like Star Wars 9, Rise of Skywalker. And that's why, for me personally, I'll be giving it a 1.5 out of 5-star rating. So, yeah, I really didn't like this movie. But, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later.